Saturday at midnight, the government funding runs out. We have to deal with that. That's the only thing that has to be dealt with. Then you have to ask, is there anything that's absolutely necessary beyond that? Anything that were to be done during that period of time would not have the respect of the American people.
It is in their interest as the political minority that nothing gets done. And they can achieve that with the way they have broken the institution formerly known as the United States Senate. And that's what explains why Christmas is so busy every year now. Because the only leverage that Democrats have, even though they're in the majority, the only way Democrats can exert any majority and any pressure on Republicans is using the fact that Republicans want to go home. And the only way to go home, Democrats say, is to do stuff first. Democrats' only leverage is, hey, Republicans, you can't leave yet.
We're going to complete the work we have to do here. I want to get out of here just as soon as we can, but we're not going to walk away from any of the work that we have to do. Christmas is a week from Saturday. I understand that. But I hope the Republicans understand it also, because we are going to complete our work no matter how long it takes in this Congress. We have to do the work of the American people. We've been stalled and stalled and stalled this whole Congress.
That is the Democratic leverage. The leverage that Democrats have, it's circumstantial. It's, you guys want to go home, so we'll keep the Senate open so you can't go home. This is not a procedure. This is not a rule. This is not a technique for bringing things to the floor. This isn't even debate. This is, you guys want to go home, and that's all we have to use against you so that we can get things done. The Senate is broken, so this is the only time and the only way the majority can get stuff passed. Here's where things stand right now. The big tax cuts vote could theoretically get taken up after midnight tonight, although Democrats now say they're going to wait until tomorrow morning. Why is midnight the important threshold here? Because that's when the 30 hours of waiting time that Republicans are requiring on this thing ends. Again, they are stalling something that most of them are in favor of. After the tax cuts deal passes, which it is expected to do, then they'll try to get through all of the other things that Republicans are filibustering. The START treaty, which is supported by every living, bold-faced Republican name on national security. The Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal, for which there are reportedly definitely 60 votes, enough to beat the filibuster. The DREAM Act, which used to be a bipartisan thing, now being filibustered. The 9/11 First Responders Bill, which I cannot believe there was any controversy about. But, hey, it's your conscience. You live with it. All of those things are stacked up and ready to go. Today is December 14th. And there is a reason why all of this stuff happens at this time of year. Why this time last year all of this stuff was happening. And why we are likely to see them working on Christmas Eve and maybe even Christmas Day. Who knows? There is a reason the Senate is on fast forward when it gets to this time of year. It's because the Senate is broken. And the only means by which Republicans can be moved to allow the Senate to function is to threaten to make them work instead of going home when they want to go home. That is not the way it is supposed to work. The thing is broken. But it can be fixed. Joining us now is Senator Tom Udall of New Mexico, a man who wants to fix it. Thank you very much for joining us again, Senator. It's nice to see you.
Thank you, Rachel. Great to be with you. You made a strong case there, no doubt about it.
Well, do you think that the Senate is broken, or do you think I'm overstating it?
Oh, no. I don't think you're overstating it. It is a very broken, dysfunctional institution. And right to the heart of what you're talking about is we lurch from one filibuster to the next. We waste an incredible amount of time. A filibuster used to be something that was extraordinarily rare. You know, in LBJ's days, back in the 1954 to 61 period, he only had to cut, and this is 6 years, cut one filibuster off in that period. This year, Harry Reid had to cut off 84. So, you know, they've taken something that's incredibly rare, and they've now turned the institution into a supermajority institution, and you just can't govern with supermajorities. It's just not going to work that way.
People get very nostalgic for the arm-twisting effectiveness of LBJ. When you realize what he was up against, one filibuster versus 84 for Harry Reid, it kind of puts Harry Reid in a brighter light. I mean, there is a reason that the filibuster exists. I mean, the Senate values the preservation of the rights of the minority for making their views known and having some legislative effectiveness. But is there a way to preserve that while stopping the breaking of the institution?
I think there is, Rachel. I really believe in the rights of the minority. And really the way the filibuster used to work is there was respect back and forth between both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, and you would say to the minority side, well, if you want to take the time to be heard, to put your viewpoint out there, to rally the American people, please do that and take the time that you need. But then at the end of that, there was an understanding that you would come together and have an up or down vote. And that's what we're missing right now. From filibuster to filibuster, we vote maybe most of the time because we don't even get onto the bill. And all the things that you've named, from the DREAM Act to the Defense Department authorization to Don't Ask, Don't Tell, we could have done these a long time ago, but there was a filibuster going on, preventing us from getting to a yes or no vote. And so one senator shouldn't have the right to hold the whole institution up. You'll remember there was a senator that held unemployment benefits up for almost 2 or 3 days singly while people were rolling off and losing their benefits. That just isn't right, and I don't think the American people in the middle class feel that this is the way the Senate should operate. But we can fix it. We can fix it on the first day because with 51 senators and utilizing the constitutional option, we can move to a situation where we change the rules. Obviously, I may be in the minority at some point, so I want minority rights protected, but we can make the Senate work more efficiently, and that's what we're working on right now. And I've got this idea on the constitutional option that on the first day, and it's been utilized before, with 51 votes, you can cut off debate and adopt rules of the Senate, and that's what we're galvanizing around.
Senator Udall, I asked Senator Reid right before the election if he would support filibuster reform with, as you said, your constitutional option, something that's structured that to take a 51-senator vote on the first day of the new Senate. Obviously, there will be more than 51 Democrats, for example, in the chamber at that time, plus some Republicans may be interested in this proposal as well. Certainly, there have been some positive noises on it from some Republicans. Do you have support from Senator Reid for pursuing some kind of filibuster reform? He did say that he would be interested in it, at least in concept.
No, Senator Reid has spoken several times, I think, very passionately. One of the ones I remember was when he appeared at Netroots Nation, and he talked about abuse of the spitball and abuse of the four-corner rule in basketball, and he said they banned those. And he said, you know, this abuse is unprecedented. We have to do something about it. And so he has assigned a number of task forces to take a look at the rules and come back. We're going to meet this Thursday in a Democratic caucus. If we can't get it done on Thursday, we're going to meet again on Friday, and we're going to try to hammer out what 51 senators would like to see. But none of that can happen, any of those changes that we come to a conclusion on, unless we utilize that constitutional option, which works on the first day, 51 votes, cut off debate, 51 votes to adopt the rules. Now, I hope the Republicans join us. You know, you've mentioned there are some Republicans out there, and we want to reach across the aisle, and we want to try to make sure that the place isn't dysfunctional and that they give us their ideas. But if they aren't going to join us and continue this, then I think it's our obligation to govern and do everything we can to make sure that the American people have legislation that meets their needs. The middle class is hurting now. We need to get out there and legislate, get this economy going, and move on all those other important matters we talked about earlier.
Senator Tom Udall of New Mexico, thank you for joining us, sir. Appreciate your time on this.
Thank you very much.
What Senator Udall is talking about there, I believe, is the single most important thing that could be done to change Washington on a single day in the legislature that we know about. It would make a huge difference for the rest of Barack Obama's first term as president and might make the difference between whether or not he has a second term. It can only be done on the first day of the new Congress.